So first thing I'm going to do is first remove the dipstick. Then we have the input and output speed sensors right here held on by two 10s. Screwdriver on each side. There's a lot of dirt around this, so I'm just trying to clean this out. Okay, now we have the manual valve lever, manual control lever. In park. We got two 10s holding this on. Little mallet here to loosen it. It's coming, it's coming. There we go. And this should come off. Okay, now we're gonna flip this on its front and take off the valve body cover. I'm going to remove this little cap for the speedometer gear. Alright, so now we got the manual control shaft detent spring. Looks like an 8. And we have these electrical connectors for the solenoids that we're going to disconnect. So we're going to bend this out of the way, remove the harness like that, and we have another connector down here that's held in by a 10. Put that back in there so I know where it goes. And then this goes up in the front to right here, and there's a snap ring holding this on that we need to remove. There we go. Now with that snap ring out, we should be able to get this connector out of there. Looks like we gotta push it through this way. And then doesn't look like it's going to fit through this little notch here until we remove the valve body. So we're just going to let this hang for now. Alright, so we're going to remove the valve body mounting bolts. the manual valve. Take this out. Okay, in this part of the valve body, we're going to remove the strainer, which is this guy right here. We're also going to remove the little seal right here. I believe this is for the second brake. There we go. Okay, so here's the valve body assembly. There are two check balls right here that come out, fairly large. We're gonna do not lose these. Put these over here, and then we're gonna flip this over, and we're gonna remove the valve body gasket. There we go. And now we're just going to put this valve body to the side, and we're going to deal with it later. Okay, so as a way to keep track of all these bolts, because a lot of them are different lengths, I've just put them all back in the holes in the valve bodies. Okay, so I'm just going to leave them like that, and I'm going to put this aside for later. Alright, so now we're going to remove the 4 accumulator pistons. Okay, all the springs inside of them. Keep track of everything and the exact position it comes out of. Because I do not believe you can mix these up. Alright, now we're going to remove this rooster comb assembly. Just going to pull this out. And we have this little lever here. Alright, we're just going to flip her over. And we're going to remove the torque converter housing, which is all these bolts around here. Again, I put this part to the side with all the bolts in the correct location so I can keep track of them. Alright, next we're going to remove the differential. It just comes right out. Alright, next we got these 12mm bolts holding the oil pump on. Okay, they are all the same size. There we go. Pops right off. Alright, we have the oil pump gasket right here. Well, I'm going to worry about this later and get that off because that's annoying. Okay, next over here we have the filter assembly. And it looks like some broken pieces of something. Something failed in here. Ooh, wow. That looks like a washer that came loose and got crushed or something. We got some broken pieces right here. Go put these to the side. Alright, so I need to figure out what broke, and this looks like a washer. I gotta figure out where this comes from. So I'm gonna pay attention to every washer that should be here. There's a thrust washer right here inside this drum. So I'm just gonna leave that there. I'm gonna remove this just like that. Okay, next we have the underdrive clutch hub right here. Alright, next we have, we're going to remove the rear cover right here. So. Damn, that was really stuck on. Okay, that's the rear cover. We got this clutch drum right here. So there should be a little thrust washer, and there is right here. So again, I'm trying to account for all the washer. Okay, so overdrive clutch hub should be a bearing, and there is. And then on the other side, there should be a little bearing, and there is as well. Okay, next is the planetary reverse sun gear. This is this guy right here. Alright. Next we have a snap ring right here. The side of the case. Here's a snap ring. Alright, we got the second brake piston. I need to get this piston out. Here's the piston. Here it comes. Here's the piston. And then behind it is the return spring. Goes like that. And then we got the clutches and steels. So these are in pretty good shape. It actually looks like this has been, I believe, I have a strong suspicion that this has been rebuilt already, just because the condition of these clutches and steels, they look pretty new. Some of the seals in here and gaskets look pretty new, so I just think the failure came with either the installation or just the part breaking. Okay, let's remove this planet assembly. We'll take that apart later. Alright, we got another snap ring in here. There's snap ring. Then we have pressure plate. And then one clutch. Alright, we got another snap ring. Snap ring doesn't seem to be aligned properly. That might be the reason. And then we have more clutches and steels. Again, these look fairly new, in great shape. And then we have this little spring behind this. Alright, next we're going to remove the parking pawl support shaft. Holds that spring. We got these other little shafts to pull out. Take the parking pawl body out of there. Doesn't look like I'll be able to take this one out until I take the gear out. Also remove the parking pawl spring. Okay, so next we need to compress this assembly to remove the snap ring. So I have this tool I got for the 4L60E rebuild. You can make this easily yourself with just a threaded rod and a plate at the bottom. I'm gonna put that through the bottom right now. Through like that. Okay, so now all I need to do, I don't want to buy the special tool. I think I'm just going to make something. I'm going to weld some sort of device that I can thread onto this and push this spring down. Okay, so took a piece of angle iron, cut it in half, and then used the other half to make these two legs, welded it together, drilled a hole in the top. So now I'm just going to put it through this on this threaded rod. And going to put this washer on, and then we can thread the wing nut all the way down. Okay, with this pressed down, I can now remove the snap ring. There we go. So now we can take these guys off. And we have the wavy spring behind it. Okay, next we're going to flip this guy around. And we're going to remove the transfer drive gear, which is this guy. Okay, so we're just going to remove these bolts here. Ouch, that hurt. So that's 3. Now we're going to rotate it about a quarter of a turn. We have 4 more. Okay, now that they're broken free, I can remove them with my impact. Oops. If I spun it in the right direction. Okay, now with that gear removed, I can remove the parking pawl. Alright, now we have this cap here. So we just push down in the middle. And then there's the cap. And the cap has a soft spot in the middle, just so you can do that. Okay, so this is the output shaft lock nut. We need to bend the tabs here. Okay, so it's much further on in the rebuild. I had to order one. I had to get this. The nut on the output shaft is a 41mm socket, and it requires a 3/4 inch drive ratchet. So that's one thing. Second, the gear on the other end, because if I spin the output shaft nut, this is going to turn. Now there is a little hex in here that you can hold, and there's a special tool to get. The special tool is kind of on back order right now. So what I did was all this hex fits a 19mm socket. So I went to the hardware store and got a bolt that fits a 19mm socket and 2 nuts. And I secured everything with red Loctite. Now anyone who knows red Loctite, it's some crazy stuff. So these, this nut is a left-handed thread, so you turn it to the right to loosen it. So this isn't going to have any problem loosening it, because I will actually be tightening the special tool nut. So it should work. Let's try it. There you go. There we go. So now we're going to turn this guy around. We're going to loosen the bolts for the bearing retainer. Okay, so with that, we're going to turn this around, and I'm going to tap on the output shaft right here, and it should come out. It's coming. This is just a wooden brush. Coming. There we go. Here's the bearing. There we go. We got the collar, output shaft, bearing retainer. Okay, we need to remove the lower reverse brake piston. There she is. So, that's it for the case. Nothing left.